Good day, ladies and gents. How are we all doing? I hope we're all good. So today I just want to do a quick trade recap of a trade which we took during today's New York trading session on German 40. So I also just want to highlight a few trading fundamentals, or rather some of the things which you need to know as a trader for you to be consistently profitable. So before we even get to you being consistently profitable as a trader, I believe you need to have a system in place, or you need to have like a set of rules which you follow so that you can actually be consistently profitable. So you need to locate something which repeats on your charts. You need to locate something which is predictable. You also need to locate something which presents itself all the time, right? So from my side, what I mainly use, or what you hear me say as I go through this German 40 setup, what you hear me mention mainly, I want to have a daily bias. So usually for my daily bias, I usually pay attention to my daily chart mainly just to see how my price is trending. So I'll just get a bit deeper into all of these as I explain today's trade recap. So the first thing I focus on is my daily bias, and I also want to check if there is any level of liquidity which is going to be my point of interest. So before I take my trade or before I look for a setup, I need to locate any liquidity, or if any liquidity has been taken. Then I also need to check my psychological level, and I also need to check if my market is trending. Right. The next thing I will check is my TDI. Is TDI confirming anything based on what I'll be seeing? So from my bias, the liquidity levels and the trend psychological level, TDI has to confirm what I would have seen on these three. Then the next thing I also want to check is any stop hunt. Is there any visible stop hunt, and is there any visible candle which we can use? So from my side, I call these candles the famous four. So we've got the normal pin bar. It's basically candles which us all traders use. So we've got the pin bar, we've got any type of doji, we've got any type of engulfing. So if we are buying, we're looking at bullish engulfing. If we are selling, we're looking at bearish engulfing candles. Then we also look at inside bars. So mainly on my setup, or on everything I explain, you hear me speak of the famous four. And each time I mention the famous four, just know that I'll be referring to one of these four candles. So on every setup I take, these candles have to appear. At least one of them has to appear. Then I also want to check my price in relation with the 13 EMA. This applies on all time frames. So for those who use moving averages, on my side, I use the 13 exponential moving average, and it sort of helps me with the intraday trend as well, just to confirm my setups. Then I also need to check a pattern confirmation, so that whatever I've seen from the higher time frames, it has to be confirmed on a smaller time frame. So my pattern confirmation time frame is usually the 15-minute time frame. Then from there, I'll be going straight to my entries. So as soon as I confirm my trade, the next thing I want to do is to just enter my trade, and which brings us to the snowman effect, which is basically our risk to reward. So a snowman effect is, okay, I will just explain it on the actual setup when I explain, but whatever you're risking, the reward has to be bigger than what you're risking. So if you're selling, this has to be your risk, and these have to be your profits right here on the bottom. And if you're buying, this has to be your risk, and this has to be your profits right on the top if you're buying. So whatever your risk is to be smaller, and whatever your reward is has to be higher. Then you also hear me mention a little bit of session timing, or basically timing in general on my setups. And this mainly applies for day traders. So if you're a day trader, this is something you want to pay attention to. Then you'll hear me also mention order blocks. You hear me mention breakers, fair value gap, support and resistance, supply and demand. So sometimes I don't need to see all of these. If I can see one or two of these, like in line with other confluences, then I can actually execute my trade. So let's quickly now get into the charts and see what the day had for us. So today we were mainly looking at German 40, which is a German index. And starting from the daily, I would say, what was I looking at? So the month of May, which we in, price hasn't been really like pushing, like giving big moves like we saw at the beginning of the previous month. Price has sort of just been trickling up and down, up and down. So the main thing which was sticking out to me was price has been trading above 23,500, which is a whole number point or a quarter point. So you can see here, price came, we found resistance initially, then we broke, then we started finding support on that level for a number of days. So that's giving me a bullish bias. That's number one. The second thing giving me a bullish bias is price is literally trading above the 13, and that's usually a sign that we are bullish. So after I'm done confirming my bias on my daily time frame, next thing I do, I simply come to my 4 hour. On the 4 hour, that's where I usually mark my psychological level. My psychological level is basically the Asian session, the first Asian session of the week. This is inspired by BTMM, by the way. Those who follow BTMM or Steve Mauro, this is where it comes from. So my first Asian session. So on my charts, I basically mark the first two 8 hour candles each week. Then I just put like a zone so that I can see where my weekly candle is expanding. So this psychological level, it just helps you to know where your weekly candle is expanding without you having to go and check the weekly charts to check the candles. So as long as you're above, you know your weekly candle is expanding up, so most likely you look for bullish setups. If you're trading above the 13 EMA, that just confirms. If you're trading below, it's simply the opposite, and you will be looking for sells. All right. So after we confirm, we also try to confirm the trend on our 4 hours. So if you notice, price has been buying since the beginning of April. That's where we set the lowest low. And from there, we've basically been pushing up. If you understand what to look for on an uptrend, this is exactly an example of an uptrend. So basically, we are pushing up. So we've confirmed the trend as well. So again, this is your top-down analysis. You're just trying to get a bigger picture from your higher time frame coming down to the smaller time frame so that you can get the best entry. So when we come to H1, what are we looking for? H1, that's where I mainly pay attention to the 13 EMA, because on this particular time frame, it helps me figure out my intraday trend. So each time my price is below, it means the intraday trend is currently bearish, and each time I'm above, it means my intraday trend is now bullish. So that's how I also use my 13 EMA. So when we came to our charts today, what I realized after confirming the bias, I realized price was finding support of the zone, which we found by just filling this gap, which was yesterday. Then today in the morning, I actually did not have anything too clean during my London session. So I think this is where your timing has to come. So you just have to choose what time are you trading. Are you trading the morning session, which is the London session, or are you trading the New York session, which is in the afternoon, depending with your time zone? My time zone is GMT +2. Okay, so just to get that out of the way. My London session opens at 9 a.m. GMT +2. And my New York session, I mainly come to my charts at 15:30 GMT +2. That's when the equities market opens in the USA, just for clarity. So those are my main sessions. So with your timing, you need to find something familiar. So when I came to the charts in the morning, London session, I realized that my price was still below the 13. Nothing had yet confirmed my buy and nothing had yet confirmed my sell. And I was within my psychological level. So I had to wait, take a breather, do something else. And I decided to trade the afternoon session on my side, which is the New York session, um, morning session in USA. So what I was waiting for here, I just wanted to see like one of the famous four. Like I said, this is where we start to confirm. So I had an order block. If you notice closely here, price actually left, then came to retest that order block during my exact trading time. So that's what I was mainly paying attention to. So as soon as I saw that confirmation, that's all I needed, since it was also happening during my actual trading time. So to confirm my pattern, I had to come to M15, where I saw that this was my order block retest, which I just showed you. And we had a breaker here to confirm that we are actually buying. So M15 confirms. This breaker was to just confirm that I'm buying. Then after that, my entry time frame, I prefer my entries on the 3 minute, although you can still enter on the 1 hour or M15. It just depends with your trading style and how you understand or view price. So again, when I'm entering, I'm looking for nameable candles, the famous four. So my trading time is here. We already had like a liquidity sweep, which was within that retest of the H1 order block. Higher time frames had already confirmed for me what was going on. I already had a buying bias, so all I needed was an entry. So the first thing I saw is I also had a breaker here, broken order block. I had a bullish engulfing right here, which was also confirming. And here I just had a little doji, although I would love to see this happening on the 13 EMA, but my confluences were still good. I used the bullish engulfing for entry. So I decided to put my stop loss way outside the range. If I had put it a little bit inside, maybe below my entry candle, my setup would have played out my 1S to 3 immediately, but I decided to have my stop loss outside the range. So after entering my trade, this trade actually gave two opportunities to get in. So the first was the bullish engulfing. Then the second entry was an inside bar right here. So you always want to identify a trend within your trading session. And each time your price retraces to your dynamic support zones, which are your EMAs, especially the 13 EMA, that's where again you look for the famous four. Once you see one of the famous four candles, as long as your bias is confirmed, all you can do is simply enter. So for this, your stop loss would have been tight, would have been a perfect entry, as well confirmed by a breaker and another pin bar, another entry here, but these were the best two entries. So to just show you the trade, how it was looking like, okay, wait, let's just go to M3. Okay, this is the setup. So you can see there was the breaker, stop loss outside the range. I was also aiming for the previous day's high as a take profit with a 1:2 risk to reward ratio. And the trade, you can see it went over and above our actual target. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's go to our results. So if you want to check out the actual running trade, it was shared in the paid community. So let's just
Controlling
use.
emotions, absolutely essential.
All right, make this big. Replay. Okay, so here you see in the morning I came to the charts. just hyping up everybody in the team there. Then in the afternoon, so that was morning. You can see I had nothing. I had nothing in the morning. Then in the afternoon, I came 15:38. Remember my trading time is 15:30 GMT plus 2, 15:38, 8 minutes after my session opened. That's when I shared my view. I was like, German 40, I've got longs with Friday high is my target. So that's the PDH, previous day high. Then after that, uh, price simply then started to move. It wasn't such a fast move. Then halfway towards target, we always scale out on our trades and we always move our stop loss to break even. So this was just me taking some content for the Instagram and YouTube. So you can see here I was explaining that M3 which has just showed you my entry. And yeah, let's see. I think I also showed trading view. You can see that was the entry. Price here was still halfway. 15:30. That's me showing you 15:30 Monday, 19th of May. TP1 is to 2. Then the last part, you see the actual running trade. And this trade went on to hit our TP, which was 1 is to 2. So let me see if I can quickly share the result. I hope it's visible, I'm sure. So this is a proper count, and our risk was 1% just to make 2%, and we managed to make the 2%. I'm sure you guys can see this out here. This one in yellow, May 19th. Let me just see if I can open it. Okay, there we go. One trade that was on German 40, and that was the result. So if you want to trade with us, you can still join our paid community. The June mentorship is now already open, and I only take 10 people each month. So if you want to join the June mentorship, please do get in touch, and it's only limited to 10 people. If you want to learn how I trade or how we trade, we also have our trading course, which is available. Besides the mentorship, you can still get the course, which also comes with 1 month free mentorship. So if this video has helped you, if you still haven't yet subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button. Please do share your comments. Let me know if you've learned something. If you've got a question, let me know what you trade or which session you actually trade. Then if you watched until the end, also thank you so much for joining. Kindly let me know what kind of content you guys want to see, because these days just posting some random feeds. I post books as well. We are currently going through a book by Wade FX, Market Structure and Price Action Setups. We're currently going through that book as well. So let me know what kind of contents you would like me to do for you guys, so that I can get on with it and share with you. So if you watched until the end, thank you so much for joining. I hope you had a good start to the week. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good trading.